Marking a new phase of engagement between India and Southeast Asia, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is about to reach Indonesia. The Prime Minister is on a three-nation visit to Indonesia, Malaysia and Singapore. The Prime Minister will attend an event organized by the Indian diaspora in the Indonesian capital of Jakarta. This is on his first official visit to Indonesia. The Prime Minister will also hold detailed discussions with President Joko Widodo. The Prime Minister will make a brief halt in Malaysia to congratulate the new leadership and then leave for Singapore on the 31st of May for a three-day visit. Before leaving, he said the focus of his Singapore visit is to enhance the bilateral partnership between the two countries. During the visit, he will be meeting students and CEOs. In fact, the Prime Minister has just touched down in Jakarta. You can see live pictures that are coming in from the tarmac as he is about to get off Air India One or Vikramaditya. The Prime Minister's first visit to Indonesia, and where there are no scheduled events today. The events will begin tomorrow, and a lot of cultural diplomacy is expected with the cultural linkages and ties that India and Indonesia have. Defense and trade are also expected to be talked about. Prime Minister is on the first leg of a three-nation visit to three Southeast Asian countries. First up, Indonesia. Next is a three-day visit to Singapore, but in between, he sandwiches those two countries with a brief halt, a few hours in Kuala Lumpur, where he will meet the newly elected Malaysian Prime Minister, Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, as well. Issues like trade and in the increase in trade between the two countries, Indonesia and India, are likely to be on the table, as well as defense cooperation. At the moment, it's uncertain what exactly that will mean, but there have been reports of India being allowed access to the strategic Sabang port in Indonesia. That port is close to the Malacca Straits. That is expected to form a part of talks between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Joko Widodo of Indonesia, as both countries are looking to ramp up bilateral ties. These are live visuals of the Prime Minister, who's just arrived in Jakarta in Indonesia on the first leg of his three-nation Southeast Asia tour. On a recent visit to New Delhi, coordinating Maritime Minister of Indonesia, Luhut Panjaitan, had said that his country had agreed in principle to give India military access to the Sabang port. He had added that India will help develop the port and its economic zone, something that is unlikely to go down well in Beijing. He's also been quoted as saying that the port's 40-meter depth can serve all types of vessels, including submarines. Sabang is in the Aceh province in Indonesia. It's close to India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands and is also extremely close to the extremely strategically vital sea lane of the Malacca Straits. Malacca Straits is actually just a narrow strip of water, but it's a widely used global sea route. The Prime Minister now arriving and getting off Air India One as he begins his three-nation South Asia tour in Indonesia. No events planned as of today. The official events are all expected tomorrow. Among those who will be greeting the Prime Minister are the Indian ambassador in Jakarta and senior officials of the Indonesian government. All official functions will only begin tomorrow. There will be a lot of cultural diplomacy. There's an exhibition of kites. That is the military attaches at the Indian Embassy in Jakarta, including the naval attaché and other senior Indonesian military officials, and a guard of honor for the Prime Minister. This is a three-nation visit to 3 different countries, starting off in Indonesia, and he will also visit Singapore on a 3-day tour, his second official visit to Singapore. This is his first official visit to Indonesia as a Prime Minister. In between these 2 countries, the Prime Minister will also have a brief halt over in Kuala Lumpur, where he will meet the newly elected Prime Minister of Malaysia, Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. Defense, trade and cultural ties are expected to be on the agenda on talks that the Prime Minister will have with the President of Indonesia. So all official functions will in fact take place from tomorrow. A musical welcome will start off the events in Jakarta. Musicians have already prepared special tunes to welcome the Prime Minister to the island nation. Karthikeya Sharma now joining us live on the phone line from Jakarta in Indonesia. Karthikeya, the Prime Minister has landed. This is the first leg of his 3-nation tour. No official events, though, are scheduled for this evening.
Yes, there is no official event which is arranged for this evening. Then there are literary events which have been organized for tomorrow. There are bilaterals tomorrow. Prime Minister will have a meeting with his counterpart. Then, there's a kite exhibition. MOUs are going to be signed. He's going to meet the business community. He's going to have a community hall event. He's going to give a speech. He's also going to meet Indian business delegations. Plus, there will be announcement, a collaborative announcement related to infrastructure. There will be collaborative announcement related to, I would say, defense. And there will be certain announcements on the strategic, which is port-related, which has already been indicated by the minister. So most of these things will take place. But I would say that the importance of this meeting is that India is trying to reinvest in its relationship, which India lost in 60s and 70s. The rupee is a product of Narasimha Rao. It became at least under Vajpayee. And I think it's materializing because, for India, it makes great economic sense to get itself integrated to the Southeast Asian economy, which are far, far more creative, far more spunky when it comes to the growth curve, and they have far more potential. And I think for this reason, the Prime Minister in this leg of tour is going to Malaysia, Singapore, and he's in Indonesia today.
Karthikeya, in keeping in line with how the Prime Minister has had informal summits in China, in Russia as well of in the recent past, even though there will be formal delegation level talks and one-on-one talks, apparently there will be some kind of a photo opportunity, or the 2 leaders will be walking in front of television cameras while they talk before those delegation level talks tomorrow.
Oh yes, most of those photo optics will be there. Like, for example, I'm just trying to arrange for certain visuals. From my hotel room, the access has been barred. NRIs have become part and parcel of his, routine of foreign policy. A lot of people criticize him, saying that it's like a big tamasha, it's like a big show. But then I think there's a belief in Narendra Modi's policy that Indian diaspora has to be accommodated and it should become part of the Indian success story. And there's no doubt that after Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, he's the only Prime Minister to so aggressively and actively not only cultivate but interact with diaspora. Who stopped Congress from doing that for so many years, 1970s, 80s, and 90s. But today you go out, you find half of the town, in context of the Indian population, bang in front of his hotel.
Karthikeya Sharma reporting live from Jakarta. The Prime Minister has arrived in Indonesia on the first leg of his 3-nation Southeast Asia tour.
Prime Minister Modi visits Indonesia.
Today I stand at the heart of Jakarta, in front of a monument which celebrates the spirit of independence.
Leverages centuries-old cultural ties. Boosts strategic ties with Jakarta.
Watch full coverage of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Jakarta with me, Kartikeya Sharma.
India acts east. WION reports live.